Hello friends, in this video I have tried to cover almost all the questions that you will get in the cybersecurity analyst interviews or in the SOC analyst L1 interview or in any information security related job. So almost all networking and basic security questions that I have covered here, almost all 62 questions and answers are there. So this video will help you out in the interviews. Okay, so almost all questions I have covered here with the answers. So let us start with the first question. So very basic question that the interviewer will ask you, like if you go and give an interview for any of the company. For example, I will take it as a KPMG or any of the company, NetApp, or any of the company like Infosys, TCS. Okay, so they will ask you about what do you know about the company you're joining, you're giving interview for this company. What are the things you know about this company? So you have to know little bit facts, like you have to do some R&D and look in the internet about the company, what are its, or where is its headquarter, and what CMM level this company, or what are the products of this company, or in which area the company works, and what is the total business of the company. So these are all the aspects, or these are all the facts. If you collect about the company, the interviewer may get impressed by your knowledge on the company, because you need to know where you're joining and what the company does or what the company is about. Okay, so this is a very basic question that you will come across when you give any interview. So they will ask you like, what do you know about us, or what do you know about the company? Okay, so here I have given some facts. So anything where when you are going to give an interview for any of the company, just collect some facts about the company, so that will help you out in answering the question. So what is cybersecurity and why do companies need it? This is a very basic question. Like when you go for the cybersecurity analyst job, or when you go for the SOC analyst job or information security analyst job, then this question will be asked in the first round, like why cybersecurity is needed for companies, why security is a major concern for the companies. So simple answer is cybersecurity is a combination and implementation of security software, hardware, policies and procedures in computer networks and information technology system to protect devices, sensitive data. Very important thing is protecting and securing sensitive data and services from unauthorized access and modification. Companies need very well equipped and operated cybersecurity strategies to prevent any damage from occurring to their valuable assets and businesses. What do you have in your home network? So basic question here, if see if the interviewer will like stick to networking question, he may ask these kind of question, like what do you have in your home network, or what do you have in the network that you have worked in the previous company. So I set up a very strong username and password for my router, like Wi-Fi router. Its broadcasting feature is disabled, and I set up MAC address filtering on the router and use WPA2, that is Wi-Fi protected access to security encryption technology. Like it encrypts the traffic on the Wi-Fi network. I disable the remote access feature. I use a firewall and configuration its security measures, and it is always on. Like you need to know the network security solution options, like whatever you have, like how you can protect your Wi-Fi, how you can protect your private network, how you isolate your private network which is connected to a public network, what is firewall, gateway. So just the interview want to know like how much networking or network security solutions or network devices or networking concepts you know. Okay, so in this answer you can enlist, or you can give a real world or real world example of what a network and how does a network gets protected from different network security solutions. This is a very important question. What is the CIA triad? CIA stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. CIA is an abbreviation of confidentiality, integrity, and availability. In cybersecurity, these three are the core elements of the information security that are kept in the place and protected from adverse impacts of incidents such as unauthorized access, disruption, misuse, disclosure, corruption, deletion, and modification. Confidentiality. Confidentiality is a term used to describe information or data privacy, which means that the information is not made available or disclosed to unauthorized entities or individuals. Like imagine a company, if the company is like, for example, a Mahindra is launching a new Scorpio. If the Mahindra Scorpio design, engine and all the details will leak to the public, then other competitors will acquire it, and like they can like have the same product in their company launching before a new Mahindra Scorpio. Like Mahindra has to face huge losses. So this is how the company has to protect their sensitive data. Integrity is a term used to describe information or data accuracy and completeness throughout its life cycle. That means that the data cannot be modified by unauthorized entity or individuals. I will take the same example of Mahindra new Mahindra Scorpio design. See, so if they like keep it somewhere, like somebody in their company employee also, their employee also, like they're spying from other company, they come and modify the design. So same design is been implemented, means company has to face huge losses. Okay, so this is how the integrity of the data should be preserved. Availability is a term used to describe information or data being available when needed. Availability systems need to remain available at all times, preventing service disruptions due to power outages, hardware failures or system upgrades. Explain difference between process, guidelines and policies. This is a very generalized question. You can answer it in your own way. These are the most popular cybersecurity interview questions asked in an interview. Yes, a process can be defined in this way. It is a step-by-step information that helps in specifying what would be the next action and implementation part. Guidelines are referred to as a recommendation given to the applications or network, which can be customized, and these can be used while creating any procedure. Policies are defined as the criteria for security objectives and the organization's security framework. Okay, so you don't have to tell the formal definition itself. You can tell your own definition, like what is a process. It's a step-by-step thing. Guidelines to carry out each step, you have guidelines and policies, okay, rules and regulations. Okay, you can tell in your own way. What is the meaning of AAA? AAA stands for Authentication, Authorization and Accounting. These three terms are very important in security. Authentication is a process of determining if a user is legitimate to use the system and the network. Authentication is usually done using a login and password. For example, you will use a username and password to access your email. The email server authenticates your username and password and provides further access. So if someone will get your username and password, definitely he will steal or modify all your data. Authorization refers to access control rights. This implies every user on the network is allowed to access to certain portion of the data and information and applications according to his or her level in the organization. For example, a marketing person will not be able to record financial transactions. Hence, a user is authorized to perform only certain function on the network system. These authorization levels are defined by the system administrator, who has to access all the resources and user policies in the network. Accountability. Accounting is known as a network accounting, which is used to gather all activity on the network for each use. Hence, AAA is a framework for network security that is used to control user access, implement policies, audit usage, and keeps track of all activities in the network. AAA helps the system administrators and security experts to identify any malicious activity on the network. What is risk, threat, and vulnerability in a network? Risk is any potential loss of, damage, or destruction of an asset as a result of a threat exploiting a vulnerability in your network. Risk is the intersection of assets, threats, and vulnerabilities. Threat is anything that can exploit a vulnerability intentionally or unintentionally to obtain damage or destroying an asset. Vulnerability. Vulnerability is a weakness or gaps in a network, software, or system that can be exploited by any threats to gain unauthorized access to an asset. You can by heart this, like if you you're not able to differentiate between risk, threat, and vulnerability. But this is a very important question. They will definitely ask you about a risk, threat, or vulnerability. Vulnerability is a very important question. What are IDS, IPS, and how do you differentiate between IDS and IPS system? IDS is an intrusion detection system that analyzes network traffic for signatures of incidents, events that match known cyber attacks. Whereas IPS is an intrusion prevention system, also analyzes packets but can also stop packets from being delivered. They are both part of the network infrastructure. They are both one and the same, but their placement is different, okay, in the network. They both compare network packets to cyber threat databases containing known signatures of cyber attacks and flag any matching packets. The main difference between them is that IDS is a monitoring system while IPS is a control system. IDS does not alter the network packets in any way, whereas IPS prevents the packet from delivery based on contents, much like how a firewall prevents traffic by IP address. IDS requires a human or another system to look at the results. Many IDS IPS systems are integrated with firewalls to create unified threat management technology. IDS and IPS are located in the same area where the firewall is located between the outside world and the internal network. IDS IPS system covers automation, compliance, and policy enforcement. Traditional firewall implements rules that prevent network traffic based on protocol, source destination address, or an source destination port. Firewalls can help you implement access control lists and prevent the use of insecure protocols. IPS works by analyzing the header and payloads of the packet, and if suspicious behavior is detected, it can drop the packets. In short, by analyzing the entirety of the network packets, IPS can detect potential malicious behavior that does not inherently violate firewall's rules. There are a host-based IDS and IPS and also network-based IPS and IDS anomaly. Based on detection first creates a baseline of the network activity and then compares the traffic to that baseline. If the network traffic deviates significantly from the baseline, it can be interpreted as a threat. Security Information and Event Management, that is SIEM, help make IPS IDS more scalable and can be better enable an organization to achieve compliance, improve reporting, and identify correlations that can indicate a broader threat. In short, SIEMs enable organizations to scale their IDS IPS data into more complete security solution. See, this answer which we have provided here, it covers the concept of IPS, IDS, what's the difference between IPS and IDS, and how the SIEM software is related to this and how firewall is related to this. Like you can differentiate between IPS, IDS, and firewall, okay, and how the logs produced by these three network security solution like it is being handled by SIEM software. So very important part of this particular cybersecurity Q&A. Okay, so very important part. So some of the IPS IDS tools, definitely they can ask you this. Okay, tell me some IPS IDS tools. So some I have listed here, like SolarWinds Security Event Manager, Snort, Security Onion, WinPatrol, OS Query, Splunk, OSEC. Okay. What do you know about cybersecurity frameworks? An information security framework is a series of documented, agreed, and understood policies, procedures, and processes that define how information is managed in a business to lower risk and vulnerability and increase confidence. Some of the most common frameworks are International Standard Organization, that is ISO, Australian Signal Directorate Essential 8, ASD's Cyber Division, which is also known as Australian Cybersecurity Center. So these are all some of the frameworks. Okay, US National Institute Standard and Technology is there. You don't need to have the much knowledge about this, but somehow if you could able to tell some standards, okay, some like forums, some consortiums, like it will be well and good. This is a very common question. What is SIEM? SIEM stands for Security Information and Event Management Software that provides a holistic view of what is happening on a network in real time and helps cybersecurity analysts or SOC analysts to be more proactive in the fight against security threats. SIEM security event management carries out analysis of the event and logs data in the real time to provide event correlation, threat monitoring, and incident response. SIEM Security's information management retrieves and analyzes log data from different network security solutions and generate a report. For the organization that wants complete visibility and control over what is happening on that network in real time, SIEM solutions are very critical. So how does SIEM work? This can be asked. Okay, SIEM collects log and event data that is generated by host system, security devices, and applications throughout an organization network infrastructure and correlating it on a centralized platform. From antivirus events to firewall logs, SIEM software identifies this data and sort it into categories such as malware activity, failed and successful logins, and other potentially malicious activity. When software identifies activities that could signify a threat, alerts are generated to indicate a potential security issue. These alerts can be set either low or high priority using predefined rules that are there been defined in the company's standard rules. Okay, so very important thing this one is SIEM solutions provide a powerful method of threat detection, real-time reporting, and monitoring long-term analytics of security logs and events. A single alert from an antivirus filter may not be a cause of panic on its own, but if traffic anomaly alerts are received from the firewall at the same time, this could signify that severe breach is in process. SIEM also collects all of these alerts in a centralized console, allowing fast and thorough analysis. So some of the SIEM software are SIEM Monster, Splunk, Alien Vault, IBM QRadar, SolarWinds. You need to know this particular software. Basically, IBM QRadar and Splunk are widely used SIEM softwares. What is a weak information security policy? An information security policy must be strong in terms of distribution, review, comprehension, compliance, and uniformity. Information security considered weak if the policy has not made readily available for review by all employees. An organization is unable to prove that employees reviewed and understood the content of the policy. How can identify theft be prevented? So, I will repeat the question. How can identity theft be prevented? Okay, so like ensuring strong password, avoid sharing confidential information online on social media, shop from known and trusted website, use latest versions of browser, install advanced malware and spyware protection tools, update your system and software. Very important question. This is like identity theft is a common thing that is going on in this world of World Wide Web or like online shopping or online transaction. So very important question it is. How can you prevent man-in-the-middle attack? Very important question again. MITM attack happens when the communication between two parties is intruded or intercepted by outside entity. Use encryption, that is public key encryption between both parties. Avoid using open Wi-Fi network. Use HTTP's forced TLS or VPN. These are some of the ways that you can avoid man-in-the-middle attack. What is DDoS attack and how it is being mitigated? Very important question. Definitely will get this question in the interview. DDoS, distributed denial of service, is when a network is flooded with a large number of requests which is not recognized to handle and making the server unavailable to the legitimate request. DDoS can be mitigated by analyzing and filtering the traffic in the scrubbing centers. The scrubbing centers are centralized data cleansing stations wherein the traffic to a website is analyzed and the malicious traffic is removed. What is brute force attack and how it is mitigated? Very important question again. In a brute force attack, the attacker tries to determine the password for a target through permutation or fuzzing process. As it is a lengthy task, attackers usually employ software such as Fuzzer or Hydra to automate the process of creating numerous passwords to be tested against the target. In order to avoid such attacks, password best practices should be followed, mainly on critical resources like servers, routers, etc. Why do you need DNS, domain name system? So these are some of the basic networking questions that you will definitely come across in the interview. So DNS, when you add your domain to a DNS provider name server. You are making those name server authoritative for answering your domain's incoming queries. DNS is the first point of contact between you and your clients, so it is very critical to keep an eye on the service you trust to manage it. DNS monitoring uses network monitoring tool to test connectivity between your authoritative name server and local recursive servers. The queries have to ask multiple servers for the DNS information until they finally reach the name server authoritative for the domain. We can also monitor the connection between actual clients and the authoritative name servers. So what you can control is actually the most important part of the DNS process, the performance of your authoritative name server answering the recursive name server on the return trip. So here I have given some explanation that you can like pause the video and go through this to understand it better. So here again this diagram explain the process of like the DNS servers. So I will make a dedicated video related to DHCP and DNS. Okay, I will provide the link in the description. You can go through that. Okay. What are encoding, hashing, and encryption? These three concepts you must know. You must know the difference between these three concepts. Like encoding converts the data into the desired format required for exchange between different systems. Hashing maintains the integrity of the message or data. Any change it any day could be noticed. Encryption, ensuring making the information unreadable. Ensure that the data is secure, and one needs a digital verification code or image in order to open it or access it. What steps will you take to secure a server? Very important question again. Secure server use SSL, that is Secure Socket Layer Protocol, for data encryption and decryption to protect data. Have a secure password for the root and administrator user. Make new users that you use to manage the system. Remove remote access from default. Configuration firewall rules for remote access. What is black hat, white hat, and gray hat hackers? Black hat hackers are those who hack without authority. White hat hackers are those who are authorized to perform a hacking attempt under the signed NDA, that is non-disclosure agreement. Grey hat hackers, hybrid one, are white hat hackers who sometimes perform unauthorized activities. What do you know about the application security? Very basic question. It is the practice of improving the security of application using software, hardware, and other procedural methods. Countermeasures are taken to ensure application security. The most common one is the application firewall that limits the execution of files or the handling of data by specifying installed programs. Can you tell me about most common things about cyber attacks? Or can you tell me about common cyber attacks? Okay. Very important question again. You must know what is malware, what is DDoS, hacking, phishing attacks. Okay, malware is like any malicious virus or a software that infects your computer, such as computer viruses, worms, Trojan horses, spyware, and adware. DDoS I had known in the previous question I had explained. You can go through that. Hacking is a term used to describe actions taken by someone to gain unauthorized access to a computer. Phishing, fake emails, text messages, and websites created to look like they are from authentic companies. They are sent by the criminals to steal personal and financial information from you, and this is also known as spoofing. What are OSI layers and what is the job of the network layer? See, it's a very important question again. It is the open system interconnection and is a reference model for how applications communicate over network. There are 7 layers in the OSI, which are application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. So you can go through the indications that I have given, like in the application layer what happens, the data is sent to the network process and application, and what are the protocols that each layer use. I have listed here. You can go through that, and I will make a separate video on OSI reference model, because all the layers knowledge you must need this one. Okay, so I will make a separate video on OSI reference model, like I'm making a separate videos on endpoint security solution. Next I will make a separate video on network security solution. Like each and every concept I will try to like make a separate video. Okay, you stick to the channel and subscribe it, and to get to know that. Okay, so this is a basic like 7 layers that comes in OS reference model. The first is the physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. Major traffic flows through transport and network layer. Okay, you need to have more knowledge on transport and network layer. So how do you reset a password protected by use configuration? Pop out the CMOS or set the factory by using the default password. What is 2FA and how it can be implemented for public websites? Two-factor authentication is an extra layer of security that requires not only the username and password but also something that only the user knows or have, like authenticator. Usually you see this, you can give the best example as a YouTube or a Gmail. In Gmail you have a two-factor authentication where you can get an SMS OTP from Gmail server so to authenticate it, or you can use your phone as a model where your authenticator apps are stored, using which you can generate codes or something you can do. Okay, alternate way of authenticating. Okay, so it's a two-factor authentication. What are the three main transmission modes between devices in the computer network? Simplex, half duplex, and full duplex mode. This is a very common thing. You can easily get to know what is simplex mode, half duplex mode, and full duplex mode. You can read on, pause the video, and read by your own. What are the network types? So LAN, WAN, and personal area, WLAN, metropolitan storage area network, and system area network. What is data center multi-tier model design? This design consists primarily of the web application and database server tiers. That is basically three tiers. One is web tier, application tier, and database server tier, running on various platforms including blade servers, one racket unit servers, mainframes, core aggregation, and access. Okay, so what are the TCP header flags and what they do? Very important question. This question even I have faced when I was giving a SOC analyst for the L1 position. So TCP header flags they will ask, and they will ask what they do. Source port, sending port is 16 bits, destination port is 16 bit. There are sync flag, urgent flag, acknowledge flag, push flag, reset flag, fin flag. Okay, so this you can usually get to know what is sync flag. The information like initial communication begins with the sync flag. Urgent, like if the packets needs to be sended with a high priority, like urgent. Acknowledgement is the reply you get from the server. So these are the different flags from the TCP. What is SSDP? Simple Service Discovery Protocol. Simple Service Discovery Protocol in a network protocol based on the Internet Protocol suite for the advertisement and discovery of the network service and presence information. A Simple Service Discovery Protocol attack is a reflection based on distributed denial of service. The attack that exploits universal plug-and-play networking protocols in order to send an amplified amount of traffic to a targeted victim, overwhelming that target's infrastructure and taking their web servers offline. What are intrusion detection methods? The intrusion detection system is a device or a software that monitors the networks. So IDS I had explained you in that slide. You can go, and very important thing I had told in that part, IDS, IPS, firewall, gateway. Okay, four important basic network security solution. You must have knowledge about all these four. Even if you have knowledge about switch, it is again added advantage. Okay, what is SNMP? Simple Network Management Protocol is an internet standard protocol for collecting and organizing information about managed devices on IP networks and for modifying that information to change device behavior. It is an application layer protocol. What are sniffing attacks? Important one. Sniffer attack corresponds to theft or interception of data by capturing the network traffic using a sniffer, and when data is transmitted across the network, if data is not encrypted, the data within the network packet can be read using a sniffer such as Wireshark. Wireshark is an open source tool using which you can analyze traffic. Okay, so if it is encrypted, it will be difficult to analyze, but if it is not encrypted, it can be easily analyzed. What is MAC spoofing? Important question. MAC address is virtually attached to the hardware by the manufacturer. Okay, in the like in the phone you have a MAC address. Okay, if you press star hash 06 hash, you will get some code. Okay, so that will be unique for each phone. Using, if your phone is lost, you can easily collect or give the complaint to the police regarding your phone is been lost with this MAC address and mobile number. Okay, so they can be easily found. Users are not able to change or rewrite the MAC address, but it is possible to mask it on the software side. This masking is what referred to as a MAC spoofing. Hackers use this method of attack to conceal their own identity and imitate another. What is ARP and ARP poisoning? Okay, very important. ARP stands for Address Resolution Protocol. It's a protocol for mapping an IP address to a physical machine address that is recognized in the local network. When an incoming packet destined for a host machine on a particular local area network arrives at a gateway, the gateway asks our program to find a physical host or MAC address that matches the IP address. Okay, the ARP program looks in the ARP cache, and if it finds the address in the ARP cache, it provides the MAC address so that the packet can be converted to the right or sent to the right packet, converted into the right packet length and format, and sent to the destination machine. If no IP address is found, ARP broadcasts the request in a special format to all the machines on the network, that is on the LAN. ARP poisoning is a important attack that is happening on the internet. So ARP cache poisoning or ARP poison routing is a technique by which an attacker sends address resolution protocol messages onto the local area network. Generally, the aim is to associate the attacker's MAC address with the IP address of another host, such as the default gateway, causing any traffic meant for that IP address to be sent to the attacker instead. ARP spoofing may allow an attacker to intercept data frames on a network, modify the traffic, or stop all the traffic. So very important thing. What are the three main data transmission methods in layer 2? Unicast, broadcast, and multicast. What is DHCP? I have told you before, I will make a separate video on DNS and DHCP. DHCP is a dynamic host configuration protocol, and so when it is activated, DHCP assigns an IP address to the devices on the network. If you know these two lines enough, okay. If they ask like how it works, then you need to elaborate, okay. What is VLAN? What is the difference between VPN and VLAN? VPN, very important question. Definitely they will ask you on virtual private network. Okay, VPN, it is related to remote access to a network with a secured and encrypted tunnel. Saves the data from prying eye while in the transit, and no one on the network can capture the packets. VLAN helps to group workstations that are not within the same location into the same broadcast domain. Logically segregates network without physical segregation with switches. Does not involve any encryption. What is port blocking within LAN? Restricting users from accessing a set of services within the local area network is called port blocking, or stopping the sources not to access the destination node via the port as the application on the ports are blocked to restrict access. What tools are commonly used to secure a standard network? Firewalls, endpoint antivirus, security policies and procedures, IPS, IDS, password managers. So these are the common things you must know. This is a very important question again. You must know about all these things. How do you keep up to date outside the normal working hours? So you have to tell in your own way. Like, I follow security professionals on LinkedIn and read their articles, browse security related social media topics, follow SANS page, browse National Vulnerability Database and CVE, that is Common Vulnerability and Exposures. You need to enlist some websites here, okay? Virus Total, there are plenty of websites out there like cybersecurity blogs, so you can tell your own answers. Tell us about some cyber attacks happened. Okay, so I have given one information about the WannaCry, the great ransomware which has shook Microsoft. Microsoft was in great trouble due to this ransomware. Okay, so you can enlist these kind of attacks. You have not only WannaCry is the older one. So you can enlist, you can go through some latest ransomware, you can Google it, some recent malware attacks, ransomware attacks, Trojan attacks. Okay, so you can study some facts about those things, and you can easily tell. How exactly does I have given some details about some attacks here. You can read this also, and if you tell this, it's okay, but The interviewer expects the recent one, okay, recent malware attack, recent ransomware attack, okay. How exactly does traceroute work? Traceroute or traceroute is command that records the route through the internet between your computer and specified destination computer. It also calculates and displays the amount of time each hop took. Traceroute determines when the packet has reached the destination by including a port number that is outside the normal range. So when it is received, a port unreachable message is returned, enabling the traceroute to measure the time length of the final hop. Traceroute is a handy tool both for understanding where the problem are in the internet network or for getting a detailed sense of the internet itself. Traceroute helps to identify where the connection stops or gets broken, whether it's a firewall, ISP, router, etc. So what are some common port numbers and their services? This is a very common question. I too have got the questions. Okay, you need to know the port number for each and every like what exactly the port number is about. For example, what is the port number for UDP, what is the port number for SNMP, what is the port number for traceroute, what is the port number for HTTP. Like you need to know all these ports, like you can by heart it. Okay, how does a firewall work? What is the better approach for setting up a firewall? So on this also I will make a separate video. For time being you can go through this explanation. A firewall is a system that provides network security by filtering incoming and outgoing network traffic based on the set of user-defined rules. The purpose of a firewall is to reduce or eliminate the occurrence of unwanted network communication. In most server infrastructure, firewalls provide an essential layer of security that is combined with other measures prevent attackers from accessing the server's basic functionality is to filter out the traffic, okay, whether it's inbound traffic or outbound traffic. Inbound traffic means the traffic coming from outside, and outbound traffic is the traffic going outside of the firewall. So here I have some process I have like explained. Okay, you can read it out by pausing the video. If there was a possible attack from the specific IP address, what would you do to defend the network? First and foremost thing, block the IP address on the firewall. How does encryption work and why it is important? Encryption is a very important concept. I have told you before also, you need to know a lot about encryption. Okay, I have given some explanation here. What is encryption? How to make the data unreadable. You have to make the data unreadable and then you have to send it over the network. I have told you about Sniffer. Okay, Wireshark as a tool. Wireshark used to analyze the traffic. Okay, if you don't encrypt your data and send, then your data will be like stolen. For example, say recently the WhatsApp has accused of not encrypting data. Now WhatsApp will provide you end-to-end encryption, like your data will be sent to from source to destination in an encrypted way. Okay, so like that, it's a very important concern. Encryption is a very important thing. So here one diagram, one figure I have given, you can go through it. Okay, if you want to, please comment in the comment section. I will make a separate video on encryption, encoding and hashing. What are salted hashes? Salt is a random data. When a properly protected password system receives a new password, it creates a hash value of that password, a random salt value, and then combined value stored in its database. This helps defend against dictionary attack. See, a very important thing, a dictionary attack, like we used to give a username and password, our family name, our son, daughter, wife, spouse, parent name as password. Okay, the dictionary attacks, like attacker or a hacker, maybe your friend, okay, maybe your colleague, they may try to like put password of your child name, okay, to hack into your account. So salt hashes will help you out from preventing the dictionary attacks. Can you explain 3CP, three-way handshake method? This is very important. Okay, again the TCP sync and acknowledgement comes into picture. This is a very basic thing. Okay, you can Google it and learn about this thing. I have provided the information about how exactly a handshaking or three-way handshake happens between a client and a server. You can go through it. Okay, it's very easy, very basic concept. Can you explain SSL, secure socket layer, encryption and handshake? Which one is more secure? Very important question, SSL and TLS. SSL is a secure socket layer. It's a protocol that enables safe conversation between two or more parties. It is designed to identify and verify that the person you are talking to the other end is who they say they are. For example, HTTP is combined with the SSL, which provides safe browsing and encryption. For example, if you visit SBI website, you can see it been logged. You can see the SSL. Okay, so that is how it is being. So the process of SSL I have given here. You can pause the video and read it out. Can you name 5 common ports and their services? FTP, File Transfer Protocol, port number is 21. SSH, Secure Shell Protocol, port number is 22. HTTP, port number 80. DHCP 6768. POP. You can, like, I have told you, like, port numbers are very important for all the services and protocols. How can you defend against ransomware? They want it here, antivirus and segmented VLANs. See, ransomware is a major concern. It's a major attack on the systems or networks. Network segregation segmentation can stop ransomware attacks. Network segregation is a separation of critical networks from the internet and other internal or less sensitive networks. Network segmentation, which involves splitting the larger network into smaller network segments, can be accomplished through firewalls and virtual local area networks and other separation techniques. Both strategies have the potential to prevent ransomware attacks that encrypt files on the network, block access to those files, and then direct the victim to a web page with the instruction of how to pay a ransom in Bitcoin to unblock the files. What are the 3 types of malware, and then explain them in more detail. Virus is an important malware. First and foremost, a virus is a computer. Virus can automatically create and install a copy of itself on a computer files, and like a virus in humans, it can spread from computer to computer. Viruses require a host program to exist, and they are initiated and when the user opens and runs their host file. Typically it's an executable file. Typically this type of malware, it is designed only to destroy particular computer files, and extent of its damage can vary. Some viruses are simply annoying, while others can cause more serious damage that requires the attention of the Maryland virus removal professional. Worm, okay, like the virus, there is something called worm, much like virus. Okay, read it out by your own to understand it. Trojan is a different thing. Okay, you may be asked what is the difference between Trojan and virus. Trojan, named after the famed wooden gift horse Greek soldiers used to invade the city of Troy. Trojan, there is a famous movie called Troy, you have seen. Okay, the hero comes in a wooden horse. Okay, Trojans operate in similar fashion. They are disguised as legitimate or even beneficial programs, and once a user enables them, they infect the computer. They are not self-replicating and can only be spread by user interaction, typically through email attachments or internet downloads. What is cross-site scripting? XSS stands for cross-site scripting. Very important question again. Cross-site scripting is a type of computer security vulnerability typically found in web application. XSS enables attackers to inject malicious client-side scripts into web pages viewed by other users. XSS vulnerability may be used by attackers to bypass access controls such as same origin policies. XSS vulnerability attacks can steal data, take control of the user session, run malicious. So you need to know like mitigation of XSS, how to mitigate this or how to reduce the risk of XSS attacks. So security development lifecycle. So I will look at STLs in more detail in the future article, but their aim is to reduce the number of security related design and coding errors in an application. I provided a detailed explanation in this here. You can pause the video and you can go through this. What is a DMZ and what you most likely to find it? DMZ is a demilitarized zone, sometimes referred to as a perimeter network or screened subnet. It is a physical or logical subnetwork that contains and exposes an organization's external facing services to an untrusted network, usually a larger network such as internet. The purpose of a demilitarized zone is to add an additional layer of security to an organization local area network. See, there is a firewall, there is an IPS, there is an IDS. Again, it's an extra security. An external network node can access only what is exposed in the DMZ, while the rest of the organization network is firewall. DMZ functions as a small isolated network position between internet and the private network. It isolates the private infrastructure from public facing. Okay, so if you have a company, it like isolates your internal infrastructure. What is Splunk? Very important. It's a SIEM tool. Very important question. You may be asked like ArcSight, IBM QRadar, or Splunk. Splunk is a SIEM tool that performs near real-time data and logs analysis, visualization, alerting, reporting, and investigation of computer and network systems. Splunk can make machine data readable because we can train Splunk to tag characters with a meaningful item. Splunk components are there, Splunk architecture is there. I will make the video separate on this topic. Okay, so basically Splunk components are indexer takes raw data from forwarders, turns it into events, and places results into an index that is stored in a bucket. Search heads acts as a user interface and allow the user to create dashboards, alerts, and reports to analyze logs and data. Forwarder forwards raw data to other parts of the deployment. A universal forwarder requires very little configuration, and heavy forwarder which you can configure it according to your needs. See, in the L1 or L2 for SOC analysts, this question will come in the second round. First round they will ask basic networking question like DHCP, port number, and all. In the second round they will ask about this tools, SIEM tools. Splunk has data pipeline that includes 4 phases: input, parsing, indexing, and searching. What is cyber kill chain? Very important question again. Cyber kill chain contains 7 phases. The first one is reconnaissance. Intruder selects a target, researches it, and attempts to identify vulnerabilities in the target network. Weaponization. Intruder creates remote access malware weapon such as virus or worm tailored to one or more vulnerabilities. Delivery. That weapon is being delivered now. Intruder transmits weapon to the target. Exploitation. After it, the delivery, definitely they will try to exploit. Malware weapons program code triggers which takes action on the target network to exploit the vulnerability. Installation. Malware weapon install access points usable by intruder. Command and control. Malware enables intruder to have hands on the keyboard, persistent access to the target network. Action on the objective. So what is the aim like they have attacked on? What is their intention? It has been served here. Intruder takes action to achieve their goals such as data exfiltration, data destruction, or encryption for ransom. So defense courses of action can be taken against these phases. Detect, determine whether an attacker is poking around, deny, disrupt, degrade, deceive, and contain. What is MITRE, ATT, and CK? MITRE, ATT, and CK is a globally accessible knowledge base of adversary tactics and techniques based on real-world observation. The ATT and CK knowledge base is used as a foundation for the development of the specific threat models and methodologies in the private sector, in government, and in the cybersecurity product and service community. Has been around for 5 years, and it is a living, growing document, threat tactics and techniques that have been observed from millions of attacks over enterprise networks. Password and other suspicious requests cyber criminals can pose as employees, contractors, or third-party vendors to bait employees into divulging sensitive passwords or other access control. How do you recognize a suspicious request like this? Cyber criminals use a phishing attack to gain passwords, credentials, and sensitive information of users by means of emails and messages. They ask you to download attachment or click on the link to update or change your password for user credentials. They then seize your username and password to create a new account for themselves. Legit companies do not request your sensitive information via email or messages. We have seen like SBI sends you a message, or HDFC Access sends you a message like, we don't ask your OTP. Okay, so this is how like the information they like from their end they will inform the users. Legit companies call you by your name. Some hackers avoid the salutation altogether. Legit companies have domain emails, but hackers and phishing attacks don't have the. So these are all ways that you can detect them. Okay, Unauthorized computers and devices on the network. Computers and devices that haven't gone through a proper authentication process before joining your corporate network are perfect targets for attackers. How does your response team not only identify attempts to connect to your network but also block them? So these are the scenario based questions. They will give you, like, they will ask you a scenario and ask you to how you will prevent this, how you can, what are the actions you will take. Okay, so this is one example I have given here. You can go through the answer. Okay, to this is not the perfect answer. This may not be the perfect answer. You have to tell your own process there. Authenticate the user and the device before joining them to network. Implement access control process to recognize each user and each device and enforce security policies. With access control method, we can also block non-compliant endpoint devices or give them only limited access. Network access controls implement a defined security policy for access which is supported by a network access server that performs the authentication and authorization, and the dynamic network access controls on specific computers that are connected to a local area network and are considered to be the trusted systems. When an unauthorized user attempts to access the networks, the trusted systems will restrict access and then communicate the action to the main policy server. Mobile device management should be in the place to control and configure which devices can access your network. Data breach on the network. What is the first thing you do when the attack occurs on the network? What are the incident response plan in the place in your organization? Describe the 6 steps for incident response. Investigate the incident. The first and foremost thing, gathering information on the incident is important in validating that the incident has occurred. Who, what, where, and when the incident occurred. If the breach is valid, inform management with a summary of the incident. Identify the suspected cause of the incident. For example, was the breach caused by the firewall with an open port, malware on the system, successful email phishing attack, or outdated antivirus software, or an employee that unknowingly divulged the confidential data. Isolate the affected system and eradicate the cause of the breach. Implement policy, procedure, and technology if necessary to prevent a recurrence. Perform period technology audit or risk assessment combined with the network penetration testing to identify weakness in the system. So these are all the scenario based questions you may get. Okay, how do you stay on top of the security news and developments? So you have to tell them the resources that you refer each and every time when you come across a unique alert. Okay, when you handle an incident. So this is a very important knowledge you need to have, whatever the references you will refer. Okay, so these are some I have listed here. You can go through that. What types of security breaches have you dealt with? How did you deal with them and what did you learn from them? Theft or loss. Computers and laptops, portable electronic devices, electronic media, paper files. Laptop should be secured at all times. Keep it with you or lock it up securely before you step away, and make sure it is locked to or in something permanent, because in the laptop you had a logged in portal or a website where you have all the confidential data open. So secure that device physically. See, physical security is also needed, and digital security is also always needed. You will not only work with the digital security, physical security is also needed. Use extra security measures for portable devices and portable electronic media containing sensitive critical information. Encryption is the primary thing. Keep always data in an encrypted way. Extra physical security, like I said before, needed. Securely delete personal identification information and other sensitive data what is no longer needed for business purposes. Report suspected theft of ACCC related computing equipment to password hacked or revealed. Use good cryptic passwords that are difficult to guess. Never share or reveal your password. Use different password for work and non-work accounts. Have a unique password for each account. Protect your company against a data breach and applying following key measures. Train your employees, protect sensitive data, enforcing strong passwords. So these are all the questions that you will come across in the cybersecurity analyst, SOC analyst, or information security analyst interview. So I have covered almost all the questions that will come across in the round 1 and round 2. So if you like this video, please hit the like button. Do share this video among your friends. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe our channel. If you want any question and answer thing on any of the topic, you can comment in the comment section. Okay, so I will make the separate video on that. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.